Kenyans must have seen that the entire government today was in the Nairobi Securities Exchange floor, ringing the bell for the starting of the secondary trading of what is being called Talanta Infrastructure Fund. It is a 44.8 billion Kenya shillings bond. Bond, in other terms, is borrowing. When government borrows, it can do treasury bills, it can do bonds, which are either short-term or long-term. Now, since on the side of the book that we already know for government debt is already overstretched, now the government is coming up with these kind of facilities so that we do not seem like our debt is growing, whereas we are basically having another secret book of debt. One secret book was fuel levy. The second secret book, of course, is now this one for Talanta, at the behest of, or under the auspices of the sports fund. What is it? The Kenyan government is borrowing today, or has already borrowed, 44.8 billion Kenya shillings. That money is money to be spent today, but to be paid by Kenyans through taxes, and especially around betting and gambling, for the next 15 years, because most of the taxes or the revenue for the sports fund come from those two kind of areas. So we are spending revenue for the next 15 years today, so that we get political capital out of it today. But Kenyans will pay that loan for the next 15 years. It will be maturing in 2040. Now the interest rate is 15.04%. Those things seem just figures when you see them, but they affect every Kenyan. Because at that rate of 15.04%, it means bonds that are paid semi-annually after every 6 months, the government will be paying from the sports fund around 3.4 billion Kenya shillings after every 6 months. So at the maturity of the bond in the next 15 years, Kenya will have paid interest rate of 100 billion for a loan of 44.8 billion Kenya shillings. And I'm here wondering, if that cannot make us agree as Kenyans, then what would? Because we are basically mortgaging every stream of government revenue, like Kenya is going anywhere. Kenya will still need a sports fund for the next 15 years. What is the urgency of rushing to overburden the country with a 44 billion loan, which upon maturity will be paying more than double on interest rate alone? From where we see it is a very reckless manner of running the fiscals of a country, because we are now mortgaging income streams of the country. And I can tell you without breaking of an eye that these kind of mechanisms you see, the experienced officers in the National Treasury do not even support it, including the fuel levy securitization. It is only the excitement of some people who are now putting our country in this kind of risk. Any experienced economist, even in the National Treasury, and I'm saying it having been in close interaction, do not support this kind of recklessness. I request the leadership, let us put our country first beyond the convenience of what we want to do in terms of developmental politics. Because Kenya will be here past the next election. We don't need to overheat our economy just because people have to see that something is being done. What we need to know is that Kenyans have always had stadiums. We have a stadium in Kasarani. We have a stadium in Nyayo. So we have not invented building of stadiums today. Kenya has always built state-of-the-art stadiums. That's one. Secondly, Kenya has always built tarmac roads. In fact, if you do in terms of kilometers, there are more roads that have been built in the past than has been built today. So we are also not inventing building of tarmac roads. It then shows you that as we rendered those services in terms of Kenya to the Kenyan population in the past, we never endangered Kenyans with this kind of financial engineering that is reckless. So the book they need to check is the book on how to make the economy be able to generate enough revenue on the mainstream side of it so that we can be able to provide services and infrastructure in the way that we want. But the other side is that we need sincerity from leaders. Sincerity is distinguishing what we need to do for political convenience and what is right for the country. Now, if this government came to power and they realized that all the fuel levy had been securitized by the previous governments, then there would be government to administer what? And it is the same question we are asking futuristically. Now the government is securitizing every revenue stream. Now the government that will be coming, in whichever time, they'll be coming to administer which revenue. The revenue you've already taken loans, borrowed, and misused, or where will this revenue again